Hey everybody, intro for the 441. So I got it put together last night. You'll see the video where I got the degree wheel on it. I show you the port layout and kind of what I did, gasket delete, that kind of stuff. So um, I'll show you running it after the degree wheel video. I run it with two different chains. I think I'll tag a 400C run on top of that, because I run both saws with the same chain just for comparison. And then so I'm going to tear it apart now. I'm going to port it a little bit and then I'll put it back together and we'll run it again, mildly ported. I'm just really just going to clean everything up and open up the transfer ports on the bottom where they come up out of the case, and I'll show you guys that in a later video, and go from there. But it's got a one-piece muffler on it, and I can't decide if I want to put one of those West Coast universal ports on it. So maybe you guys could leave a comment in the bottom if you guys have a 441 that you've done some work to. So yeah, the muffler seems a little bit restrictive, but I don't know how much we're going to gain, and there's not really a good spot to put another port. And I want to, if I port it, I want to have a screen on it. So anyway, maybe you guys can leave a comment if you have one. So anyway, enjoy. All right, the saw bench is done. Got the epoxy on it. It's not perfect, but it's going to be a workbench, so it's good enough. But I think it looks pretty good. And then this is the first project on the saw bench. It's a 441 that needs a top end. So I've already got the piston in it, and this is the piston that came out of it. It broke a ring, as you can see, a catastrophic failure. So the pin back here, it'll focus right there. Pin broke off and stirred around in the top end and messed things up. But surprisingly, the exhaust port didn't fare too bad, except the edge of the ports. But it looks like it went out. But we did scar up the Nikasil right there. So this top end is junk, but I did get an OEM cylinder off of eBay, and it looks way worse than it is. It's a fairly low hours top end. There's still machine marks in the piston, and these are just kind of your typical little light scoring. But so anyway, kind of wanted to show you the bottom end of this too. You can see how trenched out around the bearing caps this is. It looks like something you might do to a 660 or something if you're going to go crazy on it. But this is a case fed type top end, and the 362 is real similar to this. But I'm going to put it together like it is, and I'll run it, and I'm going to time it and check the squish and all that good stuff. But I want to run it like it is and get a baseline, and then I'll pull it apart, and I want to cut this skirt down right here by the ports, and then port it, polish the exhaust, maybe adjust the timing if it needs it or something. So anyway, I'll get it back together and time it. I'll give you guys the numbers. Then I got to put some AV bushings and stuff in it too, but I can see why the 441 wasn't that popular. It is a pain in the butt to tear apart, and I hope this is the one and only 441 I ever have to work on. So anyway, I will bring you guys back when I get the timing numbers and the top end back on it. So later. All right, I got the timing wheel on and it's set. So I just figured we could go through this and kind of discover it together. So I did just check the squish though, out of curiosity to know whether I'd have to put a gasket in it or not. So the squish is actually at 18 with no base gasket, and so it's about 18 right at the corner of the piston, and then it's actually kind of wedge shaped, so it gets bigger faster. So I think I'm actually going to run it like it is just for the initial baseline run, and then after I port it and stuff, if I got to shave the corner of the piston a little bit, I will. So Anyway, this might be kind of difficult without getting in your way, but let's see if we can do this. So there's the first ray of light, and that is about 102. Okay. And let's see. So this is kind of cool. It's a quad port, and the uppers are actually slightly tapered. So that's where they start to open, and then the exhaust side opens about right there. So 48. It's kind of interesting. So anyway, I will so about 133 degrees. Huh, interesting. And intake. So it opens right there at about 74. Actually, not too surprised at that. And I bet it closes at 74. Yep. Okay, so we have 148 degrees of intake duration. So it's actually not too bad, I guess. The blowdown's a little bit more than I would like. And the intake could be a little bit more, but probably only by a couple degrees on either one. But not that I know anything about this. I'm still learning all this, but I'll probably actually, well, we'll run it like this and get a baseline, and then I'll just clean up the lower case ports and put it back together and run it, and we'll see what it is like that too. And then we pull it apart again and do some work on the cylinder side of things, and I'll bring you along for that. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. So I'll stop you here and get started on putting the saw back together, I guess. Okay, 441 full comp chisel organ chain, brand new. Been run a little bit on the 400, but it's basically brand new.